Welcome, podcast listeners. You are here. Is your host, Mr. BudgetPedalChap. You are also joined by Mr. Matt Quine. Say hi, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
We're here. I'm getting proper radio voice on that, getting really deep into that microphone and getting that super silky bass. Oh, yeah.
You're taking us through the night shift, are you?
I am. To be fair, I do feel it because it is... I don't know if we've mentioned this on the cast like recently, but it is so fucking warm. so warm.
Yeah, we've just had today is the hottest temperature on the Isle of Man in the last 3 years, I think, which, bearing in mind we've had at least 2 heat waves in that time, tells you something.
Yeah, I mean, I won't go into graphic detail, but I did mention just before the cast where sweat is going. and sweat should not be going there. And this is all for you, podcast. Not the sweat thing. That's purely because I'm fatter than I should be. And it is pretty fucking warm. However, the fact that we do not have fans blaring on us is because we wanted to keep audio fidelity, and that is specifically for you, listener.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, not that you ever say that we don't do anything for you, but just know that the little reservoir of sweat that is pooling in my gooch at the moment, that is for you. Fuck, man. What a start to a podcast.
Yeah, and I also probably should point out that I do have 2 bedroom windows open from where I record. You might get a little bit of background noise, but it was that or sitting 32.5 degrees heat with the sun blaring on me, and I chose not to do that without some form of breeze. I
mean, I have got the option of opening the window, which I have declined because the main road is literally there, so I don't want to risk it. Like last week, we had some form of boy racer like bombing it down the street, and you could hear it through my microphone with the window closed. So I didn't want to.
Yeah, you don't want to risk that.
Yeah, and at the moment I'm trying to spell reservoir as well, because I feel that reservoir of Gooch sweat does sound like a podcast title.
I think it probably does.
But I'm going to have to check the spelling. Reservoir is a difficult word.
Oh dear. Oh, so fucking hot.
It is hot. It is hot. And other countries, I think, especially over the Atlantic, our friends over there don't really understand how Britain gets so just so bent out of shape by hot weather. Air conditioning really isn't a thing over here, because for about I'd say 50 of the 52 weeks a year, it is like tepid is considered a luxury.
Yeah, we just like there's no point in having air conditioning built into buildings when it gets used, if you're lucky, 4 weeks in a year, but the following year you won't use it at all. And so we don't bother with it. But it does mean that unless you're in an office building or a shop and you're lucky enough that office building or shop has air conditioning, you don't see any air conditioning ever. No,
yeah, I mean, like my little family went to 3 shops today. I don't think we needed to, but we just wanted to feel the air conditioning.
Yeah.
And yeah, we ended up buying shed loads of chocolate from one of them and realising that they either needed to be eaten or shoved into the fridge, because it's no good to anyone after about an hour in this heat.
Yeah, no, that is ridiculous. But at least, it's not for much longer. You'll be raining again by, I believe, Saturday. So.
Yeah, possibly. So then we're going to get that horrible, sticky, just completely claggy environment. I hesitate to say the word moist. But I'm going to say it.
Oh, but people love when you say moist on the internet.
Oh, especially when you get real close into the microphone and almost whisper the word moist.
Moist. Moist.
I mean, I'm not saying that it's for everyone, but someone out there will be getting absolute thrills from that moment. You know what? You carry on.
Yeah.
As long as I don't have to watch what you're doing to it, then we're all good. So I feel that's enough of our disgusting preamble. We should probably talk about what we've done most recently. Matt, would you like to kick us off?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think actually I've picked up the guitar since 3 days after the last cast, because I think the last cast was when I dislocated my thumb, wasn't it? And I never mentioned it on the podcast because I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to gig that weekend.
Yes.
So both gigs were painful. It was surprisingly, the worst thing was bar chords. Because obviously you've got the support behind. Like, I was expecting like bends and stuff to worry about, but actually I found that I'm fairly au fait with just not using my thumb at all in that. But like, either over the top bar chords where you use your thumb as a root note, or even full bar chords, your thumb's just supporting or being used. And yeah, I found that fairly difficult, but I managed to do it. Did it with a really reduced board, which I can't remember whether it was mentioned on the podcast I was going to do or not. I put a tuner on in the end. I was talking about going tunerless, but yeah, it was fuzz, 2 drives with a tuner in front, and then reverb in my simplifier. And actually, it went really well. There was a couple of songs where I missed chorus. There was a couple of songs where we decided not to do them because I didn't have my Mel 9. But other than that, across the 2 nights with the 2 different bands, it worked almost flawlessly, which I'm happy enough with. On that size of stage, I think I'll always, because it's such a small stage, they just built it wrong. I think I'll always just go for a reduced board. But I definitely, I think I do need the amount of pedals that I have, but you can deal without if the situation requires it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like we've mentioned it before on the cast, but 9 times out of the 10, like, the audience wouldn't matter if you were running through a cheap amp from 20 years ago. Yeah. So actually, the majority of the time, it's just to appease your own ear, because we tend to be quite finicky bastards.
Yeah.
But yeah, so was it the first kind of real stint that you had with a simplifier only?
I think I'd done 1 gig simplifier only back in February time. But yeah, it's like certainly the first time that I've done it back to back, and like it's the most recent time where I've kind of cranked it up and listened to it, and actually it sounded great. I hate sharing a monitor with a bass player because I can't hear myself properly. Bass players want to be able to hear their bass, and I think they've already ruined all of their low end, so they don't realise that they can hear it, and then they just ask for more bass in the monitors, and it's just so loud and it's so annoying. But yeah, I think the times where the bassists weren't playing like driven rocky lines, I could hear enough in the fold back. Everything was great, and that was kind of right. The only time I kind of struggled is when they were playing like some of the rockier riffs, and some of like the heavier bass lines where they're digging in deep with the plectrum and kind of really filling out that sound, because the other guitarists playing keyboards, and it's like I'm supposed to be filling one section and they're kind of got to come in towards our section of the tonescape kind of thing. Yeah. That was the only time where there was a bit of an issue, but yeah, for the most part, certainly all the lead stuff I could hear myself perfectly. It handles fuzz better than I thought it would. I thought that might be the issue where it struggled, but I was running the 37 Effects Fat Guy Little Coat, and sounded great. And obviously I ran the Honeyburst and the Messiah, and that just sound incredible. I tended, I think there's maybe 3 songs that I do that I did properly clean. I tended to run with my kind of bass sound as the light side of the Messiah, and go from there and just shape that rather than having a proper clean tone. And yeah, it worked great. I had the new neighbour on a spring setting, really kind of low down in the mix, just to kind of give it a little bit, but nothing much apart from a couple of songs where I needed other settings. But yeah, for 98% of it was like that, and it sounded like an amp. It didn't sound like what you normally get, which is a recorded, like I won't say what you normally get. Old modelling units or floor amps, or like even if you go back 3 or 4 years, sounded like a recorded guitar tone as opposed to an amp, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you get a really kind of a really present, it's very immediate sound, and that's always been the complaint with modelling units, and with the older ones, it was that real immediate sound, and then none of your guitar controls really changed that.
Yeah, so and I think like certainly, I think running the Messiah in front would have helped anyway, but it sounded to me like there was a mic in front of an amp somewhere, and it just wasn't right behind me. I got a couple of good compliments. The other guitarist in the first band that I was in really liked the sound. There was a couple of guys that I knew that came down that were asking where my amp was, which is always a good sign.
You'd be like, back home, mate.
Yeah. So yeah, no, all good. Yeah, really impressed with the simplifier again. Yeah, I'd be happy to run that if in an emergency, if my amp went at any gig, but I definitely prefer just having an amp there. It just feels right.
Yeah.
Even if the sound quality is probably no better or marginally better, it just feels like right running an amp when you can.
So the my understanding of the simplifier is that it's got a few different amp models built in. Yeah,
so you've got 3 different cabs. You've got a 112, a 212, a 412. Uh-huh. You've got 3 different power valves, quote unquote power valves.
Yeah.
So you've got 6L6, CL86 instead of 84, and I can't remember what the other one is, but basically Vox Fender Marshall.
Yeah.
And then it's got MS Brit. It's got
okay.
American, and I can't remember what it calls the Vox preamp, but you know, the VX Brit or whatever.
Yeah.
But basically, yeah, you've got Vox Fender Marshall on preamp and power amp sections. I, despite normally running a Vox, was using the Marshalls, the 2 Marshall settings through a 212 cab. That's what sounded best to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Legit. Yeah, because the Vox sound is known to be quite a finicky and quite picky tone, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it was just easier for me to set up the Marshall to sound good. I'm sure I could get the Vox sound to sound good if I spent 2 hours on it. Just tweak, because obviously there's bass, middle, treble, presence, and resonance, and then mic position on the cab.
Okay, yeah.
All as tweakable bits. And I think if you got the settings right, you get a great Vox tone out of it. But I think you'd have to sit down and tweak each individual bit, and then every time you change the next setting, you'd have to go back and tweak it a little bit more. And
because
with the Marshall sounds good most of the time. It's hard to make a Marshall sound bad, whereas with a Vox, once you start playing with the treble scape, the tone cut and stuff, and pushing and pulling the preamp and power amp sections, you can really start to make weird sounds that don't cope well with drives.
Yeah, it's got that really specific upper mid range, hasn't it?
Yeah.
The Vox tone is a strange beast, but I'm glad to hear that the simplifier is doing its job essentially. And it's always nice to have that reassurance that you've got a backup.
Yeah, absolutely. And the second night, the night with the newer band, Lorcan, the other guitarist, was using the Origin 20, and every time he uses it, I sometimes think, why didn't I just use that rather than buying a new amp? It just sounds great, but yeah.
Yeah, fair play. The fact that he's loving it as well, though, that's pretty decent. I have got a fair amount that I've done this week. I've just noticed this time we're about 15 minutes, but while we were talking, I'd completely forgotten that I've done something pretty massive this week.
Go on.
So I've obviously done the kind of standard video stuff and whatnot, but last weekend, me and Yeomans went to a guitar shop.
Did what now?
We went to Guitar in Birmingham.
And was it open?
It was, yeah. Like, no appointment or anything. It was just kind of rock up. Like, you had to wear a mask going around, but aside from like that little detail and the fact that like pulling the guitars off the wall was a bit more of a because like whenever you go into a guitar shop, you always ask if you can take the guitar down rather than just assuming. But it was that extra level of making sure they know which exact one that you've taken, so that they can
wipe it down.
Give it the wipe down. And all the guitars that we've played, which I felt anyway, I think that the cleaning that they do on it dries out the strings a little bit, so they felt a bit just a bit more friction than you'd be used to. But aside from that, it was good. It was a good experience. It filled me with massive hope that we are getting through this. So that was a big thing. The first thing we tried there was an Epiphone Dart, or like a 335 style Epiphone with the new Kalamazoo headstocks. So that was nice. They sounded really good. Like Yeoman's is got it in his head that he wants a semi-hollow. I've already got the mid-tone, so I played along with it. I gave it a go, but it was mainly for Yeoman's. And it really impressed me, actually. When, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or whatever, when the Epiphones would be like that kind of £300-400 mark, that have those like the Alnico buckers rather than the ceramic ones, and they were supposed to be modelled on Gibson pickups, but they were always really dark and muddy sounding and just a bit shit.
Yeah.
The more recent ones that we played were like they had like the £500, £600, £700 mark, which were like the Pro series. I think we played like a Les Paul Florentine style like Pro model a couple of years back, and that had the Epiphone Pro buckers, I think they're called, which are their take on the Gibson pickup, and they were quite nice. But again, you're talking like that guitar was about £600. So this was just kind of your bog standard Epiphone does Epiphone, and the pickup sounded really good. Especially the neck pickup sounded really rich and really loud. Actually, the bridge pickup was slightly underpowered compared to it. Okay. So like a bit of tweaking maybe with the heights.
The heights.
Or even just putting something with a little bit more poke in the bridge. But I think it was about $390 was the asking price for it, and my God, it was well worth it. But we didn't leave with an Epiphone.
Did we leave with something then?
No, well, it was very, very close, I can tell you that. On the wall around the corner from the Epiphones was the exotic kind of Japanese brand. So you had like Ibanez and ESP, and I think PRS were in with that actually, but there was also Schecter, and nestled within all of these kind of metal demon guitars was a pink SSS Stratocaster. It was another Nick Johnston. And I thought, gotta try that, haven't I? Because I tried the Seafoam one again probably about 2 or 3 years ago, and I found it very difficult to leave that store with that guitar. The pink one,
just as good.
Absolutely, just as good. To a point where, like, as we were leaving, Yeoman said, "I should have bought that, shouldn't I?" Like, yeah, you probably should have, mate. So I think it's not too long before one of us or both of us end up with a Nick Johnston. Yeah.
Yeah. I think if my box hadn't died and I had to buy a 212 replacement, and I'm now moving house, so the Strat's been pushed back, even though I want a Strat. But I think that's probably what I've settled on buying once I can afford a Strat.
Yeah. I can't say any bad things about it, to be honest. The neck profile is very reminiscent of Sir. I think their modern classic or whatever it is. I don't know the Sir models because they're too expensive for me to care.
So one of them is called the modern and one of them is called the classic. So what you've done is you've crammed two different types of guitar together there.
Conflated them. Yeah, like the modern, I think, was the one that I tried, and the Nick Johnston was very similar. I did like the Sir more, but I didn't like it an extra $2,000 more.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there is that. But yeah, the neck, like, really, really comfortable. I think the frets are stainless steel, and it did glide quite well. And the pickups were, like, for a stock, because I think it's either Indonesian or Korean made. And from those,
I think it's Korean.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. It is of that quality. But you can't, like with the PRS SEs, they're Korean pretty much across the board, and the pickups in them are the thing that let them down.
Yeah, sometimes awful. Yeah. Both of us will talk about soap bar 2s or soap bars.
We will, yeah. The guitar that made me think, I am not a fan of P90s, and then actually, no, I'm just not a fan of cheap PRS SE P90s. I mean, which is nice to know, I guess. But yeah, the Nick Johnston, it pretty much wowed me across the board. The tone control as well. The tone control, because it's a volume and a tone, it worked across everything. And on the bridge pickup, just kind of winding it off just a touch, like some of those kind of soft Clapton tones.
Yeah.
Just mwah.
Perfect.
So
yeah.
So yeah, there is light at the end of the tunnel from what I can see. Let's hope it's not just a fleeting glimpse of light before another door
total
shut.
Annihilation.
That's it. But yeah, so that was a thing, and I am happy. I've obviously done some videos this week. The one coming out on the No Talk All Tone, which will have come out the Friday before this releases, is the Joyo. I think it's called the Joyo Deluxe Crunch, which is essentially an MI crunch box.
Yeah.
I've not had the good fortune of trying the original because they're not really all that popular. They're not around in many shops. But I've tried a few clones. I think the Moog Cruncher is one. And I own that, and it was quite, like, it was really, really gainy and really, like, had loads of sustain with it, but it never quite got enough bite to it. It was always just a little bit too dark. But the Joyo version looked like it was going to alter that, because it's got two tone controls essentially. It's got a tone and a presence control. So at the time that this is released, the video will be released, and I'd like, if you haven't watched the video, just go and watch and listen to that presence control, and you tell me if it does anything. Because there's a part of the video where I just sweep between like the like full on and full off with that presence control, and I'm like the look on my, you obviously can't see my face because it's all based on the pedal.
Yeah.
But you can infer the look on my face from that. It's just like, No, not hearing it. It's almost like the switch in the middle of the Mojo.
Yeah, the fabled switch.
Yeah, you can try and convince yourself that it does something. It doesn't. Pretty sure it's not connected. So there is that. So essentially, it has only got 3 controls. This one does get enough treble to it to be able to be useful. Essentially, it's not going to be your everyday drive pedal because I don't think it's quite versatile enough. But it's fun, and for the Joyo stuff, for like I think you're talking like 25-30 quid per pedal, like new. It's well worth a punt. It's great fun. And that one was actually sent in from one of my lovely BudgetPedalChap people. I think it was Ross. He actually, like, I posted up about it on Instagram probably about a month or 2 ago, and said, "Oh yeah, what's this? I've not seen this one before." And he messaged me and just said, like, "I've got one. I'm not needing it. Do you want me to send it through for demo?" Like, yes, absolutely yes. So, just a big shout out to all of my BudgetPedalChap peeps as well. Like, you're all awesome. You're all just really nice people.
Legends.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, this week, I have been roped into doing pedal boards of news once again. And I would like to end my what we've been up to is kind of segueing into a little bit of news that I covered on the pedal boards of news, which was the Boss Eurus. So last podcast, both me and Lee, we kind of broke this news. We talked about it. We were quite amicable about the features and whatnot. But I got a sense within me that we should probably open this up to Matt about what he thinks about the Boss Eurus.
Well, like, so obviously you, sorry, not particularly you, but Will and Lee, the last podcast I won, hijacked it a little bit and talked about Plinky Plonky synths that you play with the Plinky Plonky keys.
Yes.
And I am fine with those type of synths because anybody can go in and play sort of a melody on them, because once you know which of the keys are in what key, like the thing, but I'm going to call them buttons because it's easier, because I'm going to talk about a key in terms of music. So if you know which of the buttons are in what key, and then you can play any kind of riff within that key. Yeah. And it's all kind of simple. I mean, if you add chords and stuff in, it becomes a bit more difficult, but you could come up with a basic kind of synth riff. I mean, everybody could play Walk of Life by Dire Straits if they thought about it for 3 seconds. There's 4 things you go up and down it. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It's really, it's all dead simple. I cannot play the piano, I cannot play the keyboard, but I could play Walk of Life, the entire thing, on the keyboards if somebody else did the chord bit with the left hand.
Yeah, doing the little walkie bass. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, like, so that kind of synth I get. What I don't get is guitar synth. I've never got it. When we talked about the Boss, does it SY 200, 100, 700?
1.
SY, is it SY 1?
Yeah.
That shows how much shows how much fucking attention I pay, because nobody really gives a shit. But it's like, what is it there for? Who is using this? Who wants to be a synth player but hasn't tried to teach himself how to use a synth?
Yeah, I think that is the crux of the problem that I have with synth pedals, is that it's much easier just to learn a bit of piano than it is to try and coax synthy sound.
And that's the thing, like, because of the way a synth is normally played, you have to change your playing style if you want to play a synth guitar. Because if you just play it like a normal guitar, it'll just sound weird because it'll sound like a hybrid guitar-y, synthy, just weird thing. So you have to play a bit more staccato, and you have to kind of pick out notes, or if you're going to play chords, you've got to kind of pluck the whole chord, or at least understand that if you strum it, it's going to sound a bit weird.
Yeah, because they often crap out when you try and strum them, don't they?
Yeah.
And like the tracking goes to shit.
Yeah, so like, and the other thing, like, it's, what's it, £2,500?
I think it's just under $2,000 in UK monies.
I think if you get the bit that goes with it that you could turn bits on and off with, I think it's about $2,500 from what I was reading. But
yeah, fair play.
And there's no point in buying it if you can't fucking change it on the fly, because you can't. Your hand. If you're playing the guitar, you have to stop playing it if you're going to have to mess around with settings wherever they are on the guitar, if there are even, or is it on an app? I think it might even be on an app.
So yeah,
if you don't have the foot pedal.
Yeah, the switching is on the app. The foot pedal you can assign to parameters within the synth to allow you to do the kind of stuff that the thumb wheels would do on a synth. Yeah.
So I personally don't see the point. Like, if you want one, great, crack on. But if you want to make synth sounds, for £2,000, you can buy a synth and teach yourself. In fact, for £2,000, you can buy a MIDI controller keyboard, and you've already got a computer because 80% of people already have a computer. Buy a couple of plugins, buy a MIDI controller, and buy £1,000 worth of piano lessons, and all of a sudden, you can make far better sounds than you can with the Boss guitar thing.
And no, legit. I a couple of weeks ago I bought a MIDI controller. I bought a very, very cheap one. I think it was about £30, which for like MIDI controllers is very, very cheap.
Yeah.
It also has got like little drum pad things on it. It's a pile of wank.
Yes, but if you spent £300 on a MIDI controller,
and
700 quid on a load of DSPs and all the plugins and shit, you've still got £1,000 left to teach yourself to play the piano, so that you can play, or even specific synth lessons, and you're going to make better sounds than you would with the Boss guitar. Guaranteed. I think the like selling point, almost kind of USP for it, is that blend between the synth and the guitar tones, because you can process both of the tones individually. So you almost do get like a guitar synth hybrid there. And I think that specific sound has been utilised in the past by people like Alan Holdsworth. So if you are after that kind of like jazz fusion specific tone, then so the one person in the UK who's after that specific jazz fusion tone.
Yeah.
If you are that one person, please say hello in the Facebook group.
Yeah. But it's a very, very niche product, and the fact that you can get a modelling guitar from Line 6 for
a quarter the price.
Well, yeah, like £400 I think is your base price for a new Variax standard. Like if you wanted to go like up market and wanted to get one of the James Tyler ones, they're probably about £700-800.
Yeah, I think they're $799. I think.
So there you go. Like even the American-made James Tylers were less than the Boss one is.
Yeah, the Boss synth. And the other thing is, Boss is written in Comic Sans on the headstock.
Yeah, it's like an italicized Comic Sans, isn't it? It's really, really not good. Actually, Phil from Pedal Patch on my Facebook today, he photoshopped the actual Boss logo on the headstock, and it looked like 10 times better. Because I posted about this today, like literally the headstock, saying like, what the fuck's with the Comic Sans, and quite a lot of people were just saying, yeah, it looks stupid. The thing that got me as well is the headstock looks like a soft version of the Variax standard headstock.
Yeah.
Whether or not that is intentional or whether it's just this thing looks nice, kind of coincidence. But
yeah. I mean, I don't know for sure, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Boss would be that brazen to try and rip off the standard, but who knows? So there you go. I think that's probably enough talking about the news that we did last week. We have got some more news, but before we do that, I think we're gonna go straight onto a little discussion topic, which one of our Patreon backers happened to throw into the wild world of guitar today. Mr. Andrew Bimson. I've titled this section "Mr. Andrew Bimson drops the truth." So this was a little bit of like bear baiting commenting going on within the Guitar Nerds forum, I think it was. Andrew Bimson, who listens to us but also listens to other podcasts. For shame. He basically posted up saying that he saw a YouTuber saying podcasters and YouTubers have lost touch, and essentially what the comment winds down to is $2.5K is a lot of money for a guitar. Yeah,
and I think his point was that a lot of podcasters and YouTubers and just a lot of people who are a little bit more nichely focused on the area than, say, your average Joe, suggest that $2,000 is not a expensive guitar, when for most people we're never going to spend $2,000 on a guitar.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back to the previous comment about an Epiphone Dot being £400 and none of us left with it, you would have thought that if $2,500 was affordable, then a 400 quid guitar that played nicely and sounded good would have been snapped up there and then.
Yeah.
So I'd like to think that we come from the kind of the realism side of the spectrum where it comes to this.
Yeah, I think so when you first mentioned this before the podcast, my first thought was when we talk about those Mexican guitars, once they start pushing £800, £900, £1,000, and I know they've announced the next ones are going to be £1,200, and they won't hit the shelves at that, but they'll still be up that kind of way. Yeah. And they're just Mexico was supposed to be the budget line that had Fender on it, and it was kind of like the step up from Squier and the step out of the budget into affordable gigging guitars. Yeah. And for me, there are a plethora of guitars that are affordable gigging guitars that are a lot cheaper than £1,000 Mexican signature model. Yeah, for me, the kind of the £1,000 mark is where you should be talking like professional touring instrument. Yeah, I think by today's standards, if you push that limit to like $1,500, I'd be okay to concede that. But for me personally, if it goes over that grand mark, I need to be seeing that it's not something that I need to upgrade. It's not something that I need to do this or that to. It will be a guitar that I could take from that shop and then go on a tour with. Yeah, and play it solidly for 3 months. Yeah, and other than a setup, it'd be perfect for you. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think I'm in a complete agreement. In fact, my most expensive guitar, I don't know whether it. Obviously, the Les Paul that I bought off Andy, that he put a lot of work into, was second hand, and probably brand new. It's a '90s Gibson, but it's a studio. So what's a studio these days? 1,300, 1,500 quid, I think. Yeah, back in the '90s, that would have cost probably about 650, 700 quid new. Yeah, but obviously it's had a lot of work done. It's like completely customised. I think I can't tell you exactly how much I paid, but it was probably over £1,000. In fact, I'm sure it was over £1,000. Which, bearing in mind the amount of work Andy put in to that guitar, absolutely well worth it. It's not a stock studio in any shape of the word at all. But like the off the shelf, the Cab Bonita and the James Tyler were about the same. They were between 600 and 800 quid. I think they were both actually between 600 and 700 quid. And for me, okay, I've upgraded the bridge on the Cab Bonita, and I finally, after 10 years of use, won through the Mexican electronics to the point where I've had to put new electronics in it. But like, it had 10 years use before that, and I worked it out at over 2,500 gigging and practice in band situation hours, not including any practice time I did have done at home. Like, that's so it was what, fucking 40p an hour.
And like, to be fair, the Mexican series is stuff that we're saying is not something you can go out there and gig. We're saying it's underneath that threshold, whereas actually 10 years worth of gigging without really any work done to it, to me that seems like that's profit there. Right.
Yeah, and same with the Variax has had absolutely no work apart from a setup done to it, and it's nowhere near being played as much. But again, I would happily take that on tour. In fact, if I was going on tour now, I'd take the Les Paul, I'd take the Cab Bonita, and I'd take the Variax, and those would be the 3 gig. And if one of them needs a restring overnight, you've still got a guitar and a backup. And I'd go and do. There's no chance I ever will, but I'd go do a 3-month tour where I don't come home and, you're gigging every other night, or you gig 4 nights in a row and then have a couple of nights off and whatever, and tour around Europe. And I'd happily do that, and I wouldn't be concerned about running out of guitars if any issues came up, because I don't think I'd get issues with all 3. You might get issues with one, but you might get issues with anything. Like, I think I'd be comfortable going with that as a mainstay for a long tour.
Absolutely. To be fair, I could see myself doing that with the Variax Standard, because it's been nothing but solid the entire time I've played it, and I haven't gigged with it, but I've used that almost exclusively for demos for about 2 years.
Yeah,
because I'm putting out at least one video a week. You can get an idea of how much play it gets just on those videos alone. So I'm pretty sure I'd be happy to take that over the thin line Fender that I've got sitting there. So like if I had to take a few guitars on tour, I don't think it'd be the expensive ones I would.
I do think, like, when we step back and look at it, actually you can, like, my classic vibe telly goes with me because it's in an alternate tuning, but so it gets a bit less playtime than the others, but I'd happily gig with that. Yes, I'm doing pub gigs, and function gigs, but I'm happily gigging with a guitar that's 350 quid off the shelf, that all I've done is have somebody set up in a different tuning.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that you'd probably find with the classic vibe is like stuff like the bridge would wear out before you get to that maybe like 5-year mark of heavy gigging with it, because I think they use slightly cheaper materials for like the bridge and like the tuners and stuff.
I've put compensated saddles on it though.
Oh, well, yeah, there you go. But if they are brass, they will definitely wear.
Yeah, they will. But they would wear on a $2,000 custom shop if you had brass compensated saddles.
Absolutely. So horses for courses.
I think if you're going to talk about budget instruments or affordable instruments, I think affordable to me, you can push to $1,000, because people can, like, if it's your hobby, you can justify, like, if you were going to go and play golf, you'd spend £1,000 a year on green fees, so you could justify spending £1,000 a year on a guitar.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely, you wouldn't consider it. Whereas if you're going to go and spend £2,500, that's a conversation that you need to have with your partner, and that's something that you really need to consider before you go out and buy. You can't just go out and throw $2,500 willy nilly at anything. Like that's not affordable anymore. That is a sit down and think about it. Got to make a decision. You can't just off the cuff go and spend £2,500 unless you're Jeff Bezos.
Oh mate, like flying into space on a giant dick.
Penis.
Yeah. Oh, like I imagined the man, like as he's flying up on this giant dick balloon, essentially, he's just shouting the phrase, "I'm gonna fuck Space's pussy." Because I imagine that's the kind of guy he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's just a beautiful mental image, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think it's a really like, not meaning to go off topic, but the juxtaposition between like the spacecraft that Richard Branson had, which was like this elaborate, almost like a catamaran version of a aeroplane.
Yeah.
And then Jeff Bezos going on a giant dick. it beautifully highlights the difference in culture between like Britain and the US. And I love it. I love the fact that we are such different people. But yeah, swinging it back onto kind of the topic of conversation. The two guitars that I have got that are like the most expensive guitars that I bought are both sub $1,000. The one is just sub $1,000 because I think I bought it for $999, and it was on sale. It was like end of the line, and that was the Midtown. And I had to buy that on finance because I didn't have a grand just to chuck at it. And this was back when I was about 25, where I had like a steady job, like not a particularly well paid one, but like paid enough that I had disposable income. I had no real outlays because I was still living at home at the time, so like my outlays were minimal. I didn't have like any children to look after. That was the peak point of my life where I could buy elaborate expensive shit, and even at that point I weren't looking at the PRSs, which were $2,500 at the time. The other one is my Les Paul Standard, which I happened to get a really fucking good deal on. I was picking it up off a guy, like one of my mates, who was moving away from that kind of guitar, and he just said, I need like roughly this amount because I'm looking to buy this amp that's going to take my like gigging rig to the next level. And he says I'm willing to let it go for a lot less than market value. And I had to shift some funds about and like, but I managed to pick up the Les Paul Standard for a pretty good deal. And again, like if I had to go and do it again and buy a Les Paul Standard, at the time they were going for about $1,700 new, and I think at like end of the line deals you could pick them up for just sub $1,000. I probably wouldn't have a Les Paul Standard now. Yeah, it is that simple. And the reason I haven't got rid of either of these guitars is because I know that if I do,
you'll never get another.
Yeah, never again am I going to do it. I could, like, there's potential that I probably could, but I wouldn't do it. I would prefer to buy that kind of 400, 500, 600 quid, like the Schecter, the Nick Johnston Schecter. I would buy that all day, every day, over those over $1,000 guitars. Yeah. So yeah, I think for us, like 2,500 is just it's a no. It's an absolute no.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pipe dream. I'd win the lottery and I've already paid the mortgage off and I've got a couple of mil to spare and you know, at that point, then maybe. But yeah, realistically, I don't think I'll ever look at. I think there's good enough guitars for half that price and lower.
Yeah, and I'd like to think, and like you listeners, you can back us up on this. If you think this is the kind of vibe that we give off as well, is that we are by and large act as the voice for the people who think the same thing and think that 2,500 quid guitar is too much. It's a pipe dream. Yeah, I know for sure. If I had, like, if I was, because I wouldn't be able to buy it outright, but if I had the wherewithal to like finance a 2,000 plus purchase, it sure as shit wouldn't be a guitar. It'd have wheels and it'd be driving me to work.
Yeah.
So that's and I'm raising my hat to Bimson there for saying it, because I know we don't all think it, but there's a lot of us who think it, and he had the courage to go out there and say it. So hats off to the chap. We should probably do a bit of news, because I've got some written down. I mean, we can save it for the next cast, because that'll save me a job.
Well, let's use one of them then.
Yeah, go on. We'll go for the Gordon Smith, because I actually like this one. I think it's pretty cool. So Gordon Smith are a British company. They've, I think they've been taken over by Black Star, or the people who own Black Star. So they've got kind of tie-ins with those guys. But they've been brought to the forefront of the last kind of 5 years. And that you hear more and more of them. About a year ago, they were teasing the fact that they were looking into doing a offset guitar, and now it's got a name and a price. So it's called the Gatsby. Is this offset? You get the choice of a poplar or a swamp ash body, and the swamp ash comes in at an additional cost. It's an extra £100 for the swamp ash, and you get the grain finishes, like the transparent grain finishes, whereas the poplar are flat colours. So you get maple, 22 medium jumbo frets, gloss finish on the body, but a satin neck, and they come in a range of colours. I don't think there's necessarily anything particularly that exciting, but they're not like what you'd expect for kind of an offset guitar. So we've got white, we've got Chroma, which is light blue, we've got Rockingham, which is a metallic blue, Merlot, red. Yeah. And then the ash body ones get Real Ale, which is a transparent red, and then the Tobacco, which is obviously your Sunburst. Yeah. It has got a Jazzmaster style tremolo on it. But it does, to compensate for that, it's got a low profile brass roller bridge on it. Okay. So, I mean, they've noticed that Jazzmaster trem systems are shit. And have at least tried to kind of swerve that a little. Yeah. Well, yeah. They use the GS90 pickup, which is like Gordon Smith wound P90 with chrome covers. And so all of that, I believe that they're all UK made. I believe that they are handmade for the most part. And we're talking $12.99 for the poplar and $13.99 for the swamp ash. Okay. So for me, actually, that price makes sense.
Yeah. I think that's in the kind of the upper range that we were talking about there, that they're going to be good, solid gigging guitars, straight out of the box, need a setup and nothing more.
Yeah. I mean, all of the Gordon Smith stuff, pretty much great and solid. They do a few kind of no frills approach guitars. Yeah. Which I think the GS1 is like a single P90 Les Paul-ish body, but like the finishes are really, really bare, and there's no binding or anything on them, and they come in at about 500-600 quid. And then they obviously do more and more. This one seems like it's a little bit more extravagant with the gloss finish and the transparent finishes and whatnot. But like 1,300 to 1,400 ish sounds about fair.
Yeah.
And I think I'm down with it. I think Gordon Smith. Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like the kind of guitar I'd like to give it a go, because the only things with Jazzmaster Tremoms I've tried have been the normal Jazzmaster setup bridges, and they don't function properly.
And I think the Jazzmaster pickup as well largely is not for me, because they're really squat but really wide as well, so you get like a weird, like really chimey, almost kind of nasally pickup, without much else going on. So it really does that kind of indie jangle nice.
Yeah.
But
not much more.
Yeah, it does the one trick, doesn't it? P90s, on the other hand, are a lot more versatile. They tend to lean more towards the other side, where you get like big rock tones, but you can also get kind of mellow, jazzier tones, and some cleans from P90s are some of the best cleans that I've heard on record.
Yeah.
So I think what they've done there is they've taken the offset aesthetic and made it a lot more functional. But I think, have we got time for another news? We're about 57.
Yeah, go on.
We'll talk about on the other end of the spectrum, the Abassi Concept Space T. Which one of those is the guitar? Which one is is it a guitar?
It sounds like the kind of thing that fucking Mercedes unveil every year when people come and look at their concept cars.
To me, it sounded almost like another rich person's space program, the Abassi Concept Space T. But yes, like Abassi Concepts are obviously Tosin Abassi of Animals for Leaders.
Yeah. Animals is Leaders, isn't it?
Animals is for Leaders.
Yeah.
I think the 4 is a number.
For Animals, Leaders is.
Yeah, we're getting into a Fast and the Furious movie now, aren't we? Pretty much. 4 animals, 3 leaders.
They need to call the next Fast and Furious movie Fast 10 Your Seatbelts.
Whoa! Yeah, I think we could end the podcast right there, and like we've reached the peak. So Abassi Concepts is the name of the company, which it's so kind of coffee shop trilby, like very, very well manicured beard, isn't it? It's yes. That it's talking to someone for 10 minutes about the artisanal brewery. It stinks a little bit of that, but we'll let it slide, because at least it's a new naming convention, and the Space T. So if you mix like the ergonomics of like a Strandberg with a Telecaster, why you'd want to. No, let's stay focused. So the Space T, it's a model that has already been out, but in 2021 they've done some revisions. So roasted maple neck with either a rich light board or a bird's eye maple. The fact that they're offering rich light at this price point is
rich light that one that people kicked off that Gibson started using, where they've just compressed a load of different wood together to make a rosewoodish looking but not actual wood board?
Yeah, it's essentially like a wood composite resin. It's compressed bits of, I believe it's Darkwoods, because it's supposed to sound a bit like ebony. Funnily enough, on the most expensive guitar that I own, that's a Rich Light board. Again, like it's not something that I necessarily knew too much about when I bought it, and finding out about it afterwards, I was a little bit disappointed, but actually it doesn't really matter. However, like I say, paid $1,000 for that. These, very much north of $1,000. So let's hold judgment for now, but like, you'd definitely be going for the bird's eye maple just to get your money's worth. Stainless frets, which I read as strawberry frets, with the way I've written that down.
Strawberry frets sounds interesting.
Indeed. So stainless frets are very functional and very much what you'd expect from a modern guitar. Whether or not they are strawberry flavoured, I could not guarantee. So this is where we come into a little bit of a game here. So there are some naming conventions that are going on with this. I'm going to give you some of the colours from the range. I think like part of the big sell for this is that there's some new colours coming out. Part of it is that they've now transferred to using stainless frets. The final part was the fact that you can upgrade to Greg Cox pickups, the Gristlemaster pickups. But what's much more interesting is the naming convention. So let's see. I'm just going to read out some names, and whenever there's one that you think I've made up, just call bullshit. Okay. Okay.
This is not going to go well.
So we start off with Pink Sparkle.
That's normal.
Okay, we've got Champagne.
Normal.
We've got Violin Burst.
I'm going to call bullshit on Violin Burst.
No, that's an actual colour.
Okay.
We've got Toxic Purple. We've got...
I can see Toxic Purple being a thing.
Okay. We've got Miami Blue. My writing's so fucking terrible on this one. Sorry, I'm just trying to...
I'm going to say Miami Blue is a colour as well.
Okay. We have got Black Raven.
Bullshit.
No, that is definitely one. There has been one bullshit so far.
Oh,
You've not
God.
caught it. We've got Sapphire Red.
That sounds like a Pokemon game. So I'm going to say that's right.
You're correct, yes, Sapphire. I mean, there was Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. There was also Pokemon Red.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is just an amalgamation. Sapphires are blue. So, what's going on, Tosin?
Well, no, sapphires can be multiple colours because you can buy pink sapphire, definitely. So I imagine there's a red sapphire as well.
Okay. I'll allow that then. Arctic White. Solar Beam Yellow.
Solar Beam Yellow has to be a bullshit.
No, it is fully true.
No.
It's fully true.
No, I'm not having it. No.
I reckon our Tosin likes Pokemon. I reckon that's what's going on.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go with Hyper Beam Grey.
That's got to be bullshit as well.
That one is bullshit.
What was the one I missed?
Toxic Purple.
Toxic Purple.
Toxic Purple is not one of the colours, but yeah. So we've got...
Yeah, Toxic Purple in my head was that. You remember the what's the guy from Kiss who's got that purple smashed front?
Oh yeah, Paul Stanley. Yeah, the Iceman. Yeah, that could be Toxic Purple.
Yeah,
I reckon Toxic Purple's a decent name for a
guitar colour.
Yeah. I mean, Toxic is also like a pretty fucking badass Pokemon move. So there you go. Hyper Beam's also great, but it's definitely not a colour. So there you go. Yeah, I think we've unearthed the fact that Tosin Abasi is a massive Pokemon nerd.
Yeah.
Maybe this is something that's really well known, and we are just ignorant.
Looking like a pair of idiots right now.
Yeah. He's like, I love Pokemon. You're not the only one, Tosin.
Is he Japanese, or does he just? Because obviously his first signature model was with Ibanez, And I believe these guitars, at least the first, I vaguely remember now thinking about it, them being Japanese guitars as well. Or am I completely making that up?
I mean, you very well could be. I can't confirm nor deny. I don't know a vast amount about. Sorry, I was going to call it Tosin concepts, but it's a Bassy concept. No, I couldn't tell you, unfortunately. I think he's American, but yeah, maybe he's got links with the Far East, with like through Ibanez. Who knows?
I mean, sorry, I just looked on his own, or the Bassy Concepts website, and every guitar they have is currently sold out.
Well, there you go. So he's doing something right. Do you want to hazard a guess how much they're going to ask for one of these?
Well, luckily enough, all of them, because they're sold out, don't have a price on the website, so I still haven't got a clue. Bearing in mind that the Bassy 8 and 9 strings from Ibanez, I feel were like $3,500. I'm going to say $3,500.
You crack on there, Matt. You are absolutely crack on. 3,499 for this.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Oh, I forgot to mention what the bodies are made out of. So this is quite interesting. So Akumi is a body wood that I've heard of before, but not so common. Sugar pine was the other one. Sugar pine. Like, I don't know if that would taste good with the strawberry frets, or I don't know, like strawberries and sugar. Yeah, that.
Yeah, it definitely works.
Defo. And I think that is a place where we end it this week. We sound like old man shouts at cloud, don't we? Like talking, reporting on a Bassy. But you know what? We do this for you guys. We report on things which we may not necessarily be all that interested in, because you might. And you too could get a Pokemon / colour named a Bassy Concepts.
Yeah, they're an American company, so I was wrong. I don't know why I think it's Japanese, but maybe it was just Ibanez.
Yeah, I mean, they are definitely Japanese, so don't beat yourself up there, Matt. So that is us for this week. We've already given a shout out to Mr. Bimson, but we're gonna do it again because he's one of our Patreon backers. He's one of the cool kids, and for as little as $2 a month, you out there, I'm pointing. Matt can verify this, that I am pointing
at the listener, specifically you. Yes, you.
Yeah.
Yes. Don't shake your head. It's you.
Yeah, you could be one of these cool kids too. For as little as $2 a month, you can join part of the Cool Kids Club, and those cool kids are as follows: Mr. Andrew Bimson, Mr. Adam Yeomans, Mr. Doug Christ of 37 Effects, of the Jism Cast, and of, I was going to say the Almost Famous Cast then, but it's not. It's Masters of the Cinematic Universe, who they made me watch Almost Famous, and it was decent. It was good. Listen to that podcast. Mr. Huge Erection. It's the pleat in the pants. Mr. Ben Fletcher of Fletcher Pickups, and Mr. Brian Gower of the Tone Jerks podcast. He's also been on the Just Surprise Me podcast as well, quite a few times. And that was I enjoyed that. So definitely go check those podcasts out. If you want to catch me online, I am BudgetPedalChap. I can be found at Facebook, Instagram, and or YouTube. And YouTube is the home to the No Talk All Tone series. And Matt, you are online.
Yeah, I am back on Twitter now that it didn't come home. So yeah, heel_MattQ. P.S. Don't break into football stadiums or smash anything.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. The thing that we've learnt from that is that if you ain't got a ticket, you ain't coming in. And for all the shit that we gave football in general over that period of time, I'd like to congratulate the England team for getting so far. Like,
yeah,
they have repaired some of the damage that the 1996 England football team did to me.
Yeah, I think they have for a lot of people. And like the other thing I'd like to say is that for the majority, I know there was a bit of problem on the streets, a bit of problems around the ground and stuff, but the vast majority of people I saw were actually calling them out, whereas in previous years, I think when you've seen the Barmy Army on tour and people smashing up and people have gone, oh, they're just having a good time, and I didn't see much of that. I saw a lot of criticism for it, which is what I was looking for. Like, some people just being realistic about if somebody's a knob, call them a knob. And yeah, I was worried about Twitter, like people being idiots, and actually for the most part, the people that I interact with on Twitter that were talking about it coming home were as pissed off with me about people being dicks, which is nice.
Solidarity. And I think that's repairing some of the damage that has largely been around the sport of football. The reason why I was not interested in it at all is because of the kind of the people who followed it, and just the attitude of, oh well, we're meant to do this because that's what football is. Well, if that's what it is, I don't want to be part of it because it's you being an absolute knobhead.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful that our country is kind of putting the hands up and going, actually, no, that's not right. But I don't want to dwell on that too much. What I do want to do is say, from myself, Mr. Budget Pedal Chap, from Mr. Matt Quine. Say bye, Matt.
Bye, Matt.
Yes. It will be a tatty bye and good night for this week. Ta-ra,
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye, Dr. Nick. Guy walks into a bar with a cheese sandwich under his arm. A pint of Guinness for me and the cheese sandwich. The barman says, I'm sorry, sir. We don't serve food in here.
Way.
Oh, dear.
Perfect.